Yebo, yebo, yebo. Welcome to Watch Me Build It. Today, we're going to review the DIY Watch Club Chronograph kit. And we're going to ask the question, is the watch itself worthwhile? Now, I've done a video on the unboxing of the actual kit, and I've done a walk around about what's in that kit. And I also explained at the intro to that video that Quinn and his team at DIY Watch Club took their time to develop this. So this was the first release. It was a secret project, a skunkworks project. And some of their existing builders were given the opportunity to buy a set, build it, and comment on the quality and usefulness of the parts. They then did a second release of the experimental kit. That's actually what it's called. That was made available a little while back, and I did the unboxing video on the day that the experimental kit version 2 went live. But today, I'd like to do a review on the watch itself. And hopefully by now, they have verified their quality and all of the issues are ironed out, and these are for sale. If not, if this video is going live before they're on sale, I'm sure you can register your interest. If you missed the round 2 of the experimental kit, register your interest and pick one of these up. But let's flip the camera around and have a close look and ask ourselves the question, is the DIY Watch Club Chronograph worthwhile? The building where I'm doing this review has construction going on upstairs, and they started their works for the day before I started making this portion of the video. So I need to apologize for the sound. I've put my headphones in, hopefully to suppress the noise a little, but it's about the best we can do. We're going to do some dimensions first. Now, unfortunately, my vernier has run out of battery, so there's no display to speak about. So we're just going to be doing it on the manual scale. We begin with the width. The width is just over 38 millimeters. The thickness, just over 12 millimeters. Lug to lug, we've got just on 45 mil, and the lug width is coming in at 20 mil. So a really good set of dimensions, and I must say it wears very well. I'll do a wrist roll at the end. Now if we do outside in, this isn't the supplied strap. I just put an aftermarket strap on. The supplied strap is really good. I put the black one on because I prefer it to the brown. The brown looks amazing, but it just isn't the best for my own wardrobe. So I won't say much about this strap, but the strap that comes with this watch is really good. It's well judged. It's great quality. The case back that you're going to get on this watch is absolutely standard. It's just circular brushing all the way around. It releases with the ordinary case back tool, so there's nothing special about it. And in fact, the back end of the watch is really just all business, but that does sit on your wrist and it doesn't do much anyway. So there's, that is what it is. Now the case itself, I'm going to zoom in a little so we can get some better detail. I think this case is done incredibly well. There we go. I'm catching really good fine brushing along the flanks, and then you've got fine brushing on the top of the lugs as well, and then they've got this beautifully polished edge or chamfer that runs sort of like the length of the watch, and it just adds a little bit of dressy detail. So I like the fact that they took the time to do that. Finishing behind where the strap goes is really high quality as well, so there's no sort of weak points over there. So the case is really slender. The lugs drop down quite a bit. You can see a whole lot of the height of this watch is in the domed crystal, which is quite a masterpiece. And I think while I'm on this angle, we'll kind of segue into the bezel. The bezel is just a polished press down ring that holds the crystal in place. It's done really well. It contrasts with the brushing of the case. And then the crystal itself, what I like about the time that they spent on this design is that you can see that the curve of that crystal is uniform with the bezel. So it looks like one continuous dome. In fact, if I do that, the dome actually just continues with the strap. So it gives the whole design an incredible cohesion. And then Look at the dome on that crystal. I mean, look at the refraction at that specific angle. You're literally seeing two different aspects of the dial through the dome, one on the face of the crystal and one on the domed edge of the crystal. And that's real amazing old school vibe. Something else I'm going to see if I can capture. You can see the bent second hand over there, and then the minute hand is also curved to accommodate the close tight fit between the hands and the crystal. And then that just brings us around to what I think is a real party piece. This dial is done so well. So it's not white, it's kind of like silver with a hint of titanium, and it's like a bead blasted metallic finish. Not blasted is definitely not the right word. I don't know, I don't have the language for it, but it's a really elegant dial. You can have a look. The chronograph subdials are recessed. The printing is incredibly crisp on this. You can see the chronograph scale around the outside edge. You can see the hour markers. It's really a great dial, and like I said, it harks back to chronographs of the 1940s and early 1950s. I love the Art Deco font that they've used on this. It also speaks to that period. I love the Bicompax layout myself very much. I like that they've used a very understated logo. It just says DWC, which is DIY Watch Club Chronograph 001. Really is a beautiful dial. The movement itself is the very famous Seiko VK64. In terms of the functionality, the way this build works is that the DIY Watch Club have included metal inserts for the actuation of the chronograph function. Kind of behind that button, there's a metal insert that interfaces with the movement, and that makes it just a lot more reliable. Many of the cheaper chronographs just rely on a plastic interface. It's just a part of the movement holder ring. The DIY Watch Club didn't take that route. They took a more premium route. Look how nicely the sun is picking up on those silver hands. Yeah, there we go. That's the chronograph function running. Something you will notice about the VK64 is that the minute totalizer, it's not a jumping minute. It just tracks slowly as the second hand passes around. So you'll see it's already moved off of the 60 mark over there, and it's going to come up for the 1 minute mark in a moment. On the Seagull ST19 movements, the mechanical movements, that's a jumping minute totalizer. That's not the case on this particular one. But all in all, I just think this is a wonderfully judged, incredible vintage feel chronograph that is well worthwhile. Let's do a wrist roll for you. My wrist is just over 7 inches, and that's how it fits. I want you to see it sits very slender on my wrist. Really a comfortable wear. It doesn't overpower in any means because it's not a broad chronograph watch, and I think it really looks good. And so, what did you think? I really think this is a worthwhile set, and for me it's a distinguished unit in my watch box because it dresses up really well. It's elegant. This kind of silver dial is a standout feature, and it really looks good with smarter clothing. Someone on one of my prior videos mentioned that, you know, the price of these kits is really high compared to what you can get on AliExpress. And I would agree that if you're looking for a watch only, sure, hunt and get something cheaper. But this is so much more than a watch. This is an experience. This is the experience of building something with your own hands and being able to tell everybody that I made this. So go ahead and pick one up for yourself. It's definitely an advanced skill set, make sure you've built a couple of watches already that are a little simpler, maybe an ordinary dress watch, maybe a dive watch, but certainly if you're ready for something more challenging, give this a go. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.